Welcome to the video lecture series of Grade 10 Chemistry. Today we are going to discuss about chemical reactions and equations. In the last class video, we already discussed the types of chemical reactions, especially combination reaction. So today I am going to discuss about decomposition reaction. So what is a decomposition reaction and what are the examples you have to study, and then we'll see some textbook exercise. There are certain activities are given in the textbook, so we will answer some questions based on the experiments. Okay, so let us start the decomposition reaction. Now I'll show you one video. Okay, so we'll start with an experiment first. Okay, this is an experiment in which 2 grams of ferrous sulfate is taken in a dry boiling tube. So the chemical we have taken here is ferrous sulfate crystals, and it's taken in a dry boiling tube. Boiling tube is like a bigger test tube, so it can withstand the temperature changes. Especially it is used for boiling the reaction mixture. That's why it's called a boiling tube. Now look at this picture given here. The girl is heating ferrous sulfate crystals in the boiling tube. So when this crystal is heated, you have to note the color of the ferrous sulfate crystals. Note the color of the ferrous sulfate crystals. Then after some time, means after boiling or after heating this ferrous sulfate crystals, the color will be changing. Okay, so the main characteristic change, you can see that the ferrous sulfate crystals, it's green in color before. After heating, the color will be faded. Okay, the formula of ferrous sulfate is FeSO4 7H2O. So look at this formula now. FeSO4 7H2O. This is the formula of ferrous sulfate crystals. So while you heating this compound, it loses water. This 7H2O indicates how many water molecules this one molecule of ferrous sulfate can accommodate. So this 7H2O, we call it as water of crystallization. So when you heat this compound, this 7H2O, this water molecule will lose. Okay, and then color of the crystal changes. This is the first observation you can note. So green color changes to a brown color actually, because on heating the chemical reaction taking place, we can note in this way. See, look at this reaction now. FeSO4 is the formula of ferrous sulfate, and this is changing to Fe2O3. Okay, now you listen. Fe2O3. Fe2O3 is ferric oxide. Actually, it is a formula of rust. Hydrated ferric oxide, same Fe2O3 H2O. But this is actually, there is no H2O here because it's already heated. So this is the formula of rust. And you already know the color of the rust. So that is brown in color. So the green ferrous sulfate is changed to brown color compound, and along with this we have 2 more gases produced. One is SO2, sulfur dioxide, and then SO3. It's again burned to form SO3, sulfur trioxide. Now, so when these gases are released, we can smell, or we get the smell of burning sulfur. So if you are asked to write the observation, okay, so we can write 2 important observations. The first one is color of the crystal changes. A second observation, you can write that a burning smell of sulfur will obtain. Burning smell of sulfur. So when sulfur burns, as you know, the product obtained will be sulfur dioxide, which on further heating to give sulfur trioxide. So this is very important decomposition reaction, as a single product is decomposed to give 2 or more than 2 products. So FeSO4 on decomposed to give Fe2O3, that is ferric oxide, and then you get the smell of burning sulfur, that is sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Okay, now let us move to the next experiment. That's again a textbook experiment in which decomposition of lead nitrate. Lead nitrate, take 2 grams of lead nitrate in a boiling tube again, and then hold the boiling tube with a pair of tongs, that is for to avoid any danger, because when you heat that tube will become hot and you may also feel hot. That's why you need to hold the test tube or the boiling tube with a pair of tongs. Then what do you observe? So not the changes happening when you heat this compound. So you will observe, the first observation is you will observe the emission of brown fumes. Brown fumes. Now you get okay, look at these changes now. You will observe the emission of brown fumes. What are these fumes? These fumes are nitrogen dioxide, NO2. So lead nitrate formula is PbNO3 twice. PbNO3 twice. This is lead nitrate. PbNO3 twice, and this one is a solid compound, and you are heating this compound. So the product obtained will be PbO, lead oxide, and then NO2. This NO2 is actually brown fumes. This is the brown color fumes released during the heating time, and along with this oxygen gas also produced. So there are 3 products. The first one is lead oxide, which is red in color. This is red in color, and brown fumes will be emitted, and then oxygen also produced, but we can see oxygen. We can see only 2 observations. First one is a red residue will be formed on the test tube, formed inside the test tube. So this is the lead oxide, which is red residue formed under the bottom, and then nitrogen dioxide gas. It's a brown color gas. It comes as brown fumes. So this is also an important example of thermal decomposition. Okay, and now we have one more example with this heating, that is actually decomposition of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate formula you already know, that is CaCO3. When you heat this compound, calcium carbonate decomposed to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas, and carbon dioxide gas will be liberated. Okay, now calcium oxide is called lime or quicklime, and this is actually used for the manufacturing of cement, as you already know that. So one of the main use of calcium oxide is used in the manufacture of cement. Okay, so far we have seen 3 experiments. First one is heating of ferrous sulfate. Okay, I am just writing these 3 equations now. The first one, heating of ferrous sulfate, FeSO4. Okay, when you heat this compound, you get Fe2O3 and then SO2, sulfur dioxide, and then you get sulfur trioxide, SO3. Now Fe2O3 is a solid residue and it is brown in color. And second example we studied, that is lead nitrate, PbNO3 twice. PbNO3 twice. Okay. Now this on heating you get lead oxide, PbO, and then you get brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide, NO2, and then you get oxygen, O2. And the last reaction we have seen, that is calcium carbonate, CaCO3. This on decomposition you get CaO, and then CO2. CaO and then CO2. So when you look at these three reactions, in all these decomposition reactions, we are using heat to decompose. Heat. So all these are decomposing in presence of heat. So we can call this as thermal decomposition reaction because we are giving heat energy to decompose these compounds. And all these reactions, one of the compound is a solid substance. So Fe2O3 is solid, lead oxide is solid, and calcium oxide also solid. Along with the solid substance, you get gases. There is liberation of gases also. In the first one, we get, I'm using another color for representing a gas. Sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, both are gases. So you get the smell of burning sulfur. Smell of burning sulfur. Burning sulfur. Now, NO2 is brown fumes. This is also gas which is liberating. Oxygen also gas, you already know that. So NO2 is brown fumes. It is released into the released out as brown fumes, and then you get carbon dioxide gas in the last reaction. Okay, now the last one is calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So this is also a gas, you already know. It is used in the fire extinguisher to put off fire. So all these three reactions, one of the product is solid residue, and along with the gas will be released into the atmosphere. Okay, so these are the observations you can write whenever they are asking about, when the examination is asking about you to write observations or equations. FeSO4 is ferrous sulfate, which is green in color. So you get brown residue of Fe2O3. Lead nitrate is white compound. On heating you get a red color lead oxide. Calcium carbonate is again white in color. You get calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. All these three reactions we are classifying under the category of thermal decomposition. Why it's called thermal decomposition? Because heat energy is used to break down all these compounds. Now we will be looking into another set of reactions in which we use some different kinds of energy for breaking the compound. That is actually electrolysis of water. You already have studied this electrolysis of water in the lower classes. Okay, now look at this reaction. So water is going to split into its component elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Fine. How do we do this experiment? You have taken water in a mug or in a container. Okay, they have taken a plastic mug where water is taken, and there are two electrodes. One is anode and then second electrode is cathode, and both are connected to 6-volt battery by using a switch, and there are two test tubes used to cover this cathode and anode. This is one test tube and there is one more test tube. Okay, so there are two test tubes around this cathode and anode. When you switch on, electricity is passed through this water and it undergoes decomposition. So H2O decomposed to give hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. H2 plus O2. Okay, you have to balance this equation. So you will get 2H2 plus O2. So oxygen gas will be liberated on the anode. So this is oxygen. So that is liberating on the anode side, and hydrogen gas will be liberated on the cathode. Now when you look at this electrodes, and it is, I already told, it is covered with the two test tubes. If you watch carefully, you can see that the volume of the gases are different. You look here first, this is oxygen gas collected, okay, and this blue color one is oxygen gas, and I have taken another color for hydrogen gas. This is hydrogen gas collected. So volumes of the gases are different. Can you tell me why the volumes are different? Okay, we have some question and answers to answer regarding this experiment. The first one, when we look at this question, the first one is the volume of the gas collected is the same in both the test tubes? No, the volumes are not same. Why? What is the reason? Because in the formula we already know H2O. So this actually combined in the ratio 2:1. That is 2 volumes of oxygen with the 1 volume of, there are 2 volumes of hydrogen with the 1 volume of oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen combined in the ratio 2:1. So when it is released as component gases, when water is split into its component elements, we get hydrogen more than oxygen because the ratio is H2O. There are 2 oxygen and there is 1 oxygen in the formula. There are 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen in the formula H2O. 2:1 formula. So the volume will not be same. Now test the gases. Second question. Test these gases one by one by bringing burning candle close to the mouth of the test tubes. What happens in each case? And that you already know. Hydrogen is a highly inflammable gas. Highly inflammable. What is meant by inflammable? It will burn vigorously. Okay, it will burn spontaneously, easily burning it is. So highly inflammable. It will catch fire very easily. So hydrogen is highly inflammable gas. Highly inflammable gas. So it catch fire easily. So it will burn. And oxygen also, it is actually with the help of oxygen only the things are burning. So it's also, when you show a burning candle near the test tubes, the candle will burn more brightly in the case of anode because high oxygen is produced there. Okay, but hydrogen, when you show the burning candle in hydrogen will burn with a pop-up sound. It will produce a pop-up sound. Okay, so that is for the identification test for hydrogen. The candle will burn more brightly in the case of oxygen, but hydrogen will show a pop-up sound. So we can identify both the gases. Which gas is present in each test tube? That you already know. Anode, we have anode. Anode will give oxygen gas, and cathode will produce hydrogen gas. Cathode will produce hydrogen gas. Now we have one more question to answer. What form of energy is causing these decomposition reactions? What form of energy is causing these decomposition reactions? We have used electricity for decomposing these substances. So the energy used is electricity. So the answer is electricity. We used electricity to decompose this substance, or we used electrical energy for the decomposition of water. So these kind of decomposition we say electrolytic decompositions. Electrolytic decomposition. So decomposition of water is an example of electrolytic decomposition. We have so many examples other than this water. You can write sodium chloride decomposition, NaCl. Sodium chloride or decomposition to give sodium and chlorine gas. Sodium is a solid substance. So when it undergoes decomposition reaction, you may get it in the form of molten state. Sodium plus Cl2, chlorine gas will be obtained. Na plus Cl2. Okay. Now similarly, aluminum oxide can undergo decomposition reaction. especially this electrolytic decomposition, Al2O3, you get aluminum and oxygen. Potassium chloride also can do this kind of decomposition. So these are all electrolytic decompositions because electricity is used for the decomposition of this reaction. So this is the second type of decomposition reaction. Now we may move on to the next type of decomposition reaction, and that is, this is the next type of decomposition. Yeah. So this is the textbook activity given. Take about 2 grams of silver chloride in a china dish. Okay. And what is its color? Place this china dish in a sunlight for some time. Observe the color of the silver chloride after some time. You will see that silver chloride turns grey in sunlight. This is due to the decomposition of silver chloride into silver. AgCl, when you show into sunlight, it is decomposed to give silver and chlorine. Silver is in grey color. That's why the product is turned into grey in color. And chlorine gas will be released into the atmosphere. So this is actually an example of decomposition reaction. Now, silver bromide also behave in this way, AgBr. In presence of sunlight, it forms silver and bromine. Okay, this chlorine gas as well as bromine gas, they will be released into the atmosphere. So whatever left in the china dish or whatever taken in the, whatever left in this bottle, that is silver. Silver will be obtained, which is grey in color. So for this kind of decomposition, we have used sunlight. So this type of decomposition we say photolytic decomposition or photolysis. Photolytic decomposition. Photolytic decomposition, or we say photolysis. Now, and this reaction is used in black and white photography. So what form of energy is using these decomposition reactions? We can tell we used the energy sunlight. So sunlight is the energy we used here to decompose the substances, and this type of decomposition we say photolytic decomposition. So far we have discussed the 3 types of decomposition: thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, and photolytic decomposition. Now we just conclude all these 3 reactions. So what is a decomposition reaction? A decomposition reactions, a single reactant breaks down to give similar products. So that is called a decomposition reaction. And reactions here, actually we are giving energy and then the compound is breaking. So all these decomposition reactions are endothermic reactions. Why it is endothermic? Because we are giving energy either in the form of electricity, sunlight, or heat. So we are providing energy. So these type of reactions we say endothermic reactions. So based on the type of energy we are giving, so if you are giving heat energy, it's called a thermal decomposition. And then if the energy is light, we call it as photolytic decomposition. And then if it is using electricity for breaking down the reactant, we call it as electrolytic decomposition reactions. Okay, so any type of decomposition reaction, they require energy for the breaking of the compound. So thermal decomposition, because it is heating, heat is used for the decomposition. And electrolytic, because we are giving electricity for decomposing the compound, and photolytic if we use sunlight. So these are the 3 types of decomposition reactions. And one important point we need to note that all the decomposition reactions are endothermic in nature because we are providing energy. Now, there is one textbook question. Okay. Yeah. Take about 2 grams barium hydroxide in a test tube. Barium hydroxide. So we are taking barium hydroxide in test tube. Okay. So in one test tube we have taken barium hydroxide and add 1 gram ammonium chloride. So these are the two reactants we have taken. Barium hydroxide, formula BaOH twice, BaOH twice, and ammonium chloride NH4Cl. So we get the question is, touch the bottom of the test tube with your palm. What do you feel? Is this an exothermic or endothermic reaction? Actually, these reactions are, you need to do it in the lab. Then only we will understand whether it is endothermic or exothermic. Now, theoretically, we say this reaction we get barium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. These are the products, BaCl2 plus NH4OH. When you touch the test tube, the test tube, you may feel cold because heat is absorbing from the surroundings, and that heat is used for the decomposition of this, for the reaction of this two reactants. So the bottom of the test tubes becomes cold due to absorption of heat, and this is an endothermic reaction. And this reaction is an endothermic reaction. So hence this reaction is endothermic reaction. So you should write the equation. The formula you have to by heart. Okay, barium hydroxide, Ba. Barium symbol is Ba and hydroxide is OH. So BaOH twice. BaOH twice. Okay, and your ammonium chloride NH4Cl, and then you get barium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. So this is the reaction. So this is all about our decomposition reaction. Yep. So what is a decomposition reaction? How do we conclude this? Decomposition reaction means a single reactant breaks down to give a similar product, and decomposition reactions require energy either in the form of heat, light or electricity. Accordingly we say thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition and photolytic decomposition. Okay, and all the decomposition reactions are endothermic reactions as energy is used for decomposing the reactant. And okay children, for the next video we will discuss about a displacement reaction, single displacement and double displacement. And after that we will go through some textbook questions as well as previous year questions. Till then, see you, bye bye.